Okay, so we have a trigonometry graph, a trig graph. It's either a sine graph or a cosine graph. And there's a number of things we can do to try and help us find which of these models we should choose and what is the value for A, B and C. So first of all, I'm going to start by looking at the graph and just finding out some aspects of it. From the maximum to the maximum, this distance here is called the period. So this is the period. It's basically over how long in the x-axis it takes to make one wave. Okay, the period is how long to make one wave. You could also go from the minimum to the minimum here, right, this distance. And you could also go from the center line from here back to here. All right, so all of those distances would represent the period. Okay, so this distance is the period, this distance is the period, this distance is the period. And you can also see that actually from here to here, this is exactly halfway. You know, so from a maximum down to a minimum is half a wave, right? So from these 2 points, the horizontal distance between these 2 points is half a wave. So now how to find the distance? Well, this is the x distance across, this is the x distance across. So all we have to do is subtract these two numbers to find how far apart they are, all right? And that helps us to find from here all the way along to here on the x-axis. So that is the period also. All right, so let's go and find the period. So the period equals 225 minus 45 equals 180. So the period here is 180. So let's just leave that there. And now we're going to do the line of, I suppose the line of rest. It's called the principal axis, which is the fancy name for it. And basically you want to draw a line through the middle, all right? So find where the maximum and minimum is and go halfway. This is y equals -1. This is the principal axis. And now the amplitude is basically how far does the wave get compared to the middle part, all right? How low does the wave get compared to the middle part, all right? So you can see this is at -3, but we start at -1. So you can see that the distance here is actually 2. And the distance here is also 2. In fact, from the center line to the maximum is always 2, and from the center line down to the minimum is always 2. So now we have a measure for the amplitude. The amplitude equals 2. Now we can put all of those pieces into the model, and this will help us find the A, B, and C. And we are, because the graph starts on the y-axis in the middle, then it is in fact a sine graph. So we are going to do away with cosine, and we are going to work with sine graph only. So y equals the A value. So the A value is A for amplitude. That's 2. Sine, I'm going to leave the B for now. So that's the hardest one to do. And then plus C. Well, the C is just the coordinate of the kind of center, the principal axis. So that's ±1. And of course, plus minus, we can change that into a minus. Now to find the B. Well, the B is closely linked to 360. So the B value is always 360, which is the actual period of sine x. And we divide this by the period of our graph. So our B value is 360 divided by the 180, which equals 2. And our equation is y equals 2 sine 2x minus 1. And if you type that into Desmos, and think about making the scale, right, on the x and y axis look like this, then you'll get the identical same graph.